All right, so here's what we're working on this afternoon. We have this customer job in, and we just sprayed it earlier. All this gloss just like normal, but you got these pieces down here that are actually like a satin. Now we've looked at it, and we almost feel like it's just really faded, wore out, but we're not 100% sure. So we're gonna try to match it. You can see this is gloss, and you can see this is all dull, very, very dull. And it's consistent around the whole vehicle. But let's look on this side. But the thing is, the pieces that we took off, you see right there really good. I mean, you can clearly see the difference. All this is plastic. Now this is not normal. Normally you have black textured plastic. This is not. You can actually see right there, okay? So you can see the metallics. It's not dirt, okay? That's actually metallics, that's paint. That's actually painted to match the vehicle. It's the same color as the vehicle. And for some reason it's like a satin. So you can actually come over here and see if I can find this other piece that Mike had. He took off that we were looking at the other day. Here's the front bumper. So you can see on the front bumper again, gloss versus satin. So that whole bottom piece, that front bumper's upside down. So that whole bottom piece is like that satin finish. So there's your bottom piece, all satin, top gloss. But if you come here on the inside, this would be the wheel well. Okay, this is where our screw is at and no sun got to. So you can see, wipe some of this dirt off, which that makes it look glossy. Let's see, I'll let it dry. But you can see how this is actually glossy. This ring is a lot glossier, whereas the outside is not. So I really feel like that this was painted from the factory to color match. I'm trying to get it. Now that smeared dirt all over it's made it all look like it. I can't find no other areas. But yeah, it really looks like it from the factory was painted to match, and then has just dulled out over time. I mean, you can see the sheen difference right there inside the circle where it's covered up. But anyway, we're going to try to match this and get this clear coat on the new pieces dulled down. Get them dulled down so that they're not so bright, and that way they don't stick out like a sore thumb, and it'll basically match. Because you can already see, like on the door, the difference between a new door painted and the back door. Even though our color actually stops right here, this is a blend panel. So there's no color past that. That's all just fresh clear coat. And that's just the difference that fresh clear coat can make it look different. So there's absolutely no new color back here. These two colors are exact same. That's just the difference between the clear coat. But we're gonna try to make these pieces match closer to this crap that we got going on back here in the back. It looks all faded, so let's get after it. So here's the new pieces that we're working with. They come from the factory like this when you buy them new. So we've scotch sprayed them, scuffed them down, about to run some bulldog over them. And there's the little fender edge. It comes with like a primer on it from the factory. You can see we've scuffed it all down nicely, got it all nice and smooth and scuffed, ready to go. So we're gonna run some bulldog on these pieces right here, and then roll into it with base coat, and then roll into it with probably 2 coats of gloss clear, and on the 3rd coat, probably dull it out. We might start dulling it out on the 2nd coat actually, but that's what the plan is. Alright, so figured I would go over with y'all Flattening Agent. A lot of times you see like Hotrod black and on hot rods, drag cars, stuff like that. They do have a product. Let's see here. So you can pick up this product at your local paint store. It's a Hotrod black. This gives you the satin like hot rod primer black look. Not primer, but you know what I'm saying. It's a satin. Go to your local paint store or Google that number and you can get that. That'll give you your traditional Hotrod black if you just want a kit. Now if you want to do other colors flat, like I've done some stuff on my car that's flat, you can use a flattening agent, add it to your clear coat. So when people call the paint shop up all the time and be like, I just want to go flat, that way it's cheap, I just want to go cheap flat job. Flat actually costs more because we're doing all the same steps, but we're actually adding flattening agent to the clear coat to kill the shine. The shine's already going to be there. You have to actually kill it and add something to it. So it actually costs more. And then to maintain flat like satin paint job on like a whole entire car, you actually don't want to use a soap that has wax in it or anything that shines a car up. You don't want to use that because you're actually hurting your satin or your flat job. So it actually a lot of times takes special soaps and stuff to maintain them properly. Now plenty of people just paint them and rock and roll with whatever soap and have good results. That's fine, but to do it properly, they actually do take special things. So what we're going to use today is this is a universal flattening agent that I pick up at my local paint store. You can go to your paint store and ask for it. There's some part numbers. You can probably find something on Google or go to your paint store and show them this and they might be able to look it up. This is the mixing ratio. It's a little different than normal. So it's 3.5 parts clear, 1 part hardener, 3 parts flattening agent. So that you're not going to find that on any of your normal tables on your paint cup all across the top where you have the different ratios. You ain't gonna find that. That's a custom mix. And what I've done is this mix right here, this formula is actually a formula I made. So if you change up the amount of flattening agent in it to the amount of clear, you'll get a different sheen. I know what color this sheen is. This matches everything on my car, and this gives it a nice flat satin. This is what I'm gonna go with because it about looks the same. This is what I use on almost everything is this ratio. This is the reason why it's wrote down. But if you change this ratio up, the amount of flattening agent that you put in there, you'll get either duller or shinier, vice versa. If you put less in, it'll be shinier. If you put more in, then it's gonna dull it out even more. So what I do on my flat jobs, because this stuff's not cheap, is normally I mix it in a little tiny cup. So I use ounces for this. So I would do 3.5 ounces of clear, 1 ounce of hardener, and then 3 ounces of flattening agent. That's all it is. You know, it's a part can be measured in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you could take a Sundrop bottle cap or a soda cap and literally measure out your stuff in a cap. You can measure it out in a 5-gallon bucket, you know, if you were doing like some giant job. But I mean, whatever, it's just the same. It's got to be equal parts. So we're gonna go 3.5 parts clear coat. So we're gonna do 3.5 ounces. All right, that gets you to the 3.5. Next part is gonna be your hardener. This does not get reducer in this stuff either. So we're gonna take our hardener, 1 part hardener. So since I'm using ounces as a part, so 1 ounce is 1 part in my ratio of what I've come up with. We're gonna go to 4.5 ounces because we're currently at 3.5 ounces. So we want 1 part hardener, all right? And then 3 parts flattening agent. So then we're gonna go 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. That'll give you 3 parts flattening agent because you want 3. So if you're at 4.5, it's gonna be 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. That's gonna be your 3 parts flattening agent. On this cup also, I do not have it. I can't get to the, let's see here, the 7.5 exactly. So what I do is I bring out another mixing cup that I have, and I go off of the ounces on this one, and I'm gonna go to 3 ounces on this of the flattening agent, and then I'm gonna combine them together. Since that cup doesn't measure up to that, and I want to be precise on this because I know what sheen this will give me. So we're gonna go 3 ounces of flattening agent right there. This stuff gets really nasty after a while, so clean off your excess because it just, I don't know what it is about this flattening agent, but it just crumbles all up. All right, and now we're just gonna mix them together. So even though we're in a little cup, I put them together just so you can measure them out separately and you know where you're at precisely and you're not guessing, because this goes up to like a 6. So technically I could guess at the 7 and get really close, but I like this measurement to be precise since I do have a ratio, and since that does change the sheen. So there's my first cup mix of it, and we're going to put that in the gun and go shoot it. And I'll put this on time lapse, and you'll actually be able to see this product doling out as it dries. Like you'll be able to see the product actually sucking the shine out of the clear coat. Alright, so as I'm sure you've seen in the time lapse, you can see it actually pulling the sheen right out of the clear coat. And it will still keep on doling out. 10-15 minutes from now it'll be a little more duller. It'll pull pretty much most of that sheen out. And the sheen is the level of how shiny it is. But you can already tell that it don't look like traditional clear coat, and you can really tell in the time lapse how it is. We're going to let this sit overnight, and once it's on the vehicle, we'll look at this again, and you'll probably see that it's a lot duller, and we'll see how good or bad of a match it is to the rest of the stuff. I don't expect a good match, but we will see. So here we are with the vehicle fully assembled, trim put back on it, and as you can see, our satin, that's how our satin piece come out. That's what it looks like against the paint. And you get back here, there's our pieces where they butt together. Now this is covered in mud, so we take a little water, start wiping this off, let that dry. Not terrible. I mean, we're trying to match something ourselves to something that's not even supposed to be. So I say that's not a terrible match. It don't look bad as if you were to paint this gloss. But that's what she looks like whenever it's all done on the vehicle, when you spray the satin clear on something. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned how to spray satin clear, and hopefully you see what it can look like on certain pieces. You can definitely use it in a hot rod or modified something.